Gen Z is the first generation that grew up knowing regular people can get rich from a laptop, and that's the exact same reason why so many of them are gonna stay broke forever. Because now everybody knows it's possible. Everybody has seen the clips. Some 19-year-old talking about a Shopify store, some day trader showing a 5-figure day, some guy making money with YouTube, some kid flipping meme coins, some dude in a hoodie saying college is a scam and that he made more in a month than a doctor. So now the average teenager looks at school and thinks, why would I do all of this when people my age are already making real money online? And to be honest, that thought is not even wrong. The internet did change the game. You can make money young now, real money, way more money than school ever promised most people. That part is true. The problem is what happens next, because most people don't get inspired by that. They get poisoned by it. They stop respecting school, they stop respecting normal jobs, they stop respecting slow progress, and they stop respecting the boring parts. And then they jump into some money path they saw online with the worst mindset possible. They want the result, they don't want the build-up. They want to call themselves an entrepreneur after watching 6 videos. They want to say they're professional day traders after a week of looking at TJR. They want to say they're building a brand when all they did was make a logo and an Instagram page. That's why Gen Z is in such a bad spot. They're too aware of how much money is possible to make, and way too weak to do what it actually takes to get that money. That's the trap. A lot of this generation is going to ruin both options at the same time. They mentally quit the school 9-to-5 route, then they fail at the online route, and now they're stuck in the middle. The middle is where most people stay broke for years. I've seen it so many times. A guy finds out about day trading. For the first 3 days, he's on fire. He's talking about it like he found the answer to life. He's posting his demo trades, talking about freedom, talking about escaping the matrix, talking about how school is useless. And then reality shows up. He realizes he has to actually study the skill. He has to journal, he has to backtest, he has to stare at charts when it's boring, he has to lose, he has to be wrong. He has to sit there for months or years without getting paid. And that's where almost all of them disappear. And the exact same thing happens with dropshipping, or YouTube, or affiliate marketing, or cold calling. Same with basically every other online money path. People love the idea of being self-made. They hate the daily life of becoming it. That's why so many Gen Z kids are gonna stay broke forever, because they don't commit to anything long enough for it to work. And that's where the real damage happens. It's not just that they fail, it's that they fail after already throwing away their respect for the normal path. That's the killer. Because before the internet, a lot of people still had one clean path in their mind. Do decent in school, go to college or learn a trade, get a job, and build up your life from there. Now that path has competition. A teenager sees that people are making $20,000 a month from a bedroom, and suddenly math class feels like a joke. History feels pointless, homework feels insulting. And again, I get it. I really do. Why would you care about some worksheet when you know people are building real income online? The real issue is that most people are not strong enough to actually make the jump. So what do? They stop caring about school. They half the business thing, then they quit that too, and now they're just floating. No real grades, no real skill, no real money, no discipline, and no direction. That's the version of Gen Z that is going to stay broke forever. Not because the opportunities are all fake, but because the people chasing them are soft. Yeah, that's the word, soft. They want fast money, but they have no pain tolerance. They want freedom, but they can't handle repetition. They want to be rich, but they still live like comfort comes first. They say they're serious, but the second a thing stops feeling fun, they're gone. That's why I have zero respect for the guy who says, I'm thinking about trying day trading. Thinking about it means nothing. The internet is full of people who are looking into making money. That's not commitment, that's entertainment. If you're going to do it properly. If you're going to learn trading, then go all in. Study, backtest, miss out on comfort, take the losses, sit through the boring parts, stick around when it stops being exciting. The exact same thing with YouTube, or e-commerce, or whatever path you choose. What makes somebody different is not that they found a secret, it's that they stayed when it got repetitive. That's where almost everybody falls. And that's why the average Gen Z person is cooked. They have ambition without discipline, exposure without patience, big dreams with zero endurance. That combination creates broke people. You get a generation that talks like winners and lives like quitters. And the saddest part is that a lot of them really do have potential. That's what makes it annoying. They're not stupid or overstimulated or distracted, they're addicted to speed. So when real progress asks them to do the same hard thing for 6 months with no applause, they simply can't do it. They go back to scrolling, back to talking, back to saying they'll lock in next month, back to watching another clip about how to make 10K online at 15 years old. That's why they stay broke, because they keep consuming the life they refuse to build. And before somebody runs to the comments saying, oh, so you're telling us not to take risks? No, I'm saying the quite opposite. Take the risk, try the thing, start the channel, learn the skill, take the shots. Ignore the people telling you to stay small. But once you choose a lane, stop acting like it's a hobby. Stop treating serious things casually. Stop saying you want a rare, extraordinary life when your work ethic is completely average. That's the part nobody wants to hear. Gen Z can absolutely get rich, probably easier than any generation before. There's way more information, more access, more ways in, more free leverage, more global opportunity. You can build an audience from your bedroom, sell something from your laptop, learn almost anything for free. This is insane! But none of this matters if your attention span is fried and your discipline collapses the second progress gets slow. That's why this generation splits into two. A small group is gonna get seriously rich. The rest are gonna spend years pretending they're on the same path. And that gap is gonna get ugly. You're gonna see one kid who went all in for 3 years and changed his life, and right next to him, 10 others who watched the same videos, talked the same talk, called school useless, called jobs slavery, and still ended up with nothing because they never truly committed to anything. That's the truth. So if this video sounds harsh, good, it should, because this is one of those moments where you need to pick. Either respect the school routine and do that properly, or respect the business route and do that properly. But this half-broken middle ground where you quit one mentally and quit the other physically is where poverty lives. That's where excuses live. That's where wasted years live. And that's where most Gen Z kids are heading right now. And what makes this worse is that most of them will never tell the truth about why they failed. They'll blame the market, they'll blame the algorithm, they'll say day trading is fake, they'll say YouTube is luck, they'll say dropshipping is dead, they'll say none of it works anymore. But most of the time, that's not the real reason. The real reason is that they were never built for the process. They liked the image of being different. They liked the feeling of being in on something. But the second the work got boring, lonely, repetitive, and slow, they started slipping. They stopped studying properly, they stopped showing up every day, they stopped taking it seriously. Then they slowly turned into one more person saying, I almost did that once. So no, Gen Z isn't doomed. Gen Z is simply undisciplined. And if that doesn't change, then yes, a lot of them will stay broke forever. Not because the world gave them no chance, but because the world gave them too many chances and they were too weak to hold on to even one.